Hi there. Welcome back to another episode of Figuring It Out, the place where we talk about the things that are going to set you up to win. I'm your host, Aggie, and today's episode is about the questions that you shouldn't ask other people. Let's figure it out. Welcome back. A humble request before we get into the meat of the episode. Please make sure to subscribe, like, and share. I'm very grateful that you let me reach you, and I would be so happy to be able to reach your network as well. Today's episode is about the questions that we shouldn't ask other people. Now, I think some time back I did a short around why do we ask certain questions? But I was looking at it from the external angle, the intrusive angle, the people who meet you and ask you, when are you getting married? Or ask you when you're getting kids, I was touching the need for us to be more sensitive, especially around the topics that we know, if we're mature enough, which I believe we are, we know that there sometimes are underlying painful stories and journeys that need to be treated with a bit more respect and a bit more sensitivity. Today's episode, though, is looking at you. Things like, which career should I pursue? Which man should I marry? What kind of business should I get into? What kind of friends should I make? Now, if you are praying, which I hope you are, and if you're not, I deeply encourage you to, then God is talking to you. God is giving you visions. God is giving you insights. God is, with his still small voice, telling you the next step to take. So he's talking to you. And now he's talked to you about a certain dream. He's talked to you about a certain idea. He's talked to you about a certain direction to take. He has talked to you. He did not talk to your family. He did not talk to your friends. He didn't even talk to your pastor. He talked to you. And now you go, because maybe the thing that he told you is so big, and perhaps out of excitement or out of anxiety or out of disbelief or out of fear, you get anxious and you get restless and you run to the phone. You pick up the phone and you call a friend who has no expertise in that area, who wasn't there when God was talking to you, and you tell them about your idea before you yourself have even had the moment to process. And you ask them for their opinion about something that God spoke to you about in private, something which, if it materializes, whichever way it materializes, the only person that's going to very directly be impacted by the outcomes is you. So now you have your friend or your relative or whoever who has a certain limited perception of you, giving you advice about what you should be doing. This is how a lot of people's dreams die before they even can be conceptualized, because people just have a hard time, first of all, sitting still and allowing themselves to own the things that God is talking to them about. The other thing is that sometimes people put you in a box, but God put you on the earth, God spoke to Abraham. Sorry about that. God spoke to Abraham and said to him, look up at the stars. You see the vastness of that? That is how many descendants I'm going to give you, right? You see the things that God says, they're out of this world. In fact, there's a verse in the Bible that says, no eye has seen, no ear has heard the plans that God has for you. Now, if no eye has seen and no ear has heard, why are you going to consult an eye and an ear about something that they have not seen or perceived or even understood? Are you 100% sure that they have the capacity to even fathom what you're trying to share with them? That's a question for you to ponder on. I would highly encourage you that when you are faced with these kinds of decisions, rather than run to the phone, run to the throne and be still and know that God is God. If he told you, he's going to guide you. He's going to expose you to the right kind of knowledge. He's going to expose you to the right kind of insight. He's going to expose you to the right kind of input that is going to strengthen you rather than weaken you. A lot of people's dreams have been aborted because they consulted the wrong people. The other sad thing is that some of your friends actually are not for you. They cannot believe that big idea for you. They're secretly wishing that you fail. They're secretly hoping that you become a mediocre and that you never surpass them. So even when you want to consult with people, it is worth it to pause and pray about the people that you should be talking to. Otherwise, I would highly encourage you to keep mum. And to talk to God. Talk to God. Say, God, hey, you've given me this idea. You've given me this thought. Or this thought is crossing my mind several times. I'm totally freaked out. I'm totally unequipped. Tell me, who do I need to partner with? Tell me who is going to help me. Tell me how I should approach this thing. Tell me. You gave me the idea. You're the one giving me the impulses. Equip me to handle it. And it's going to like amaze you and blow your mind how God is going to speak to you. The other thing is that if you are a prayerful person, your level of faith, if you are someone who reads the Bible, meditates on the Word of God, your level of faith is up there. And maybe you're talking to people whose faith is somewhere else. What private conversations are you having with Jesus that you perhaps shouldn't be mixing up with people's opinions, you know? The other thing is things like, who should I marry? So you meet this guy, you start dating. You're the person who is dating him. So you're the one who is seeing his mannerisms. You're seeing how he treats his mom. Your mom is not there to see how he treats his mom. You're the one who sees how he treats his siblings. You're the one who sees how he deals with money. You're the one who sees what type of friends he has. And now you go ask your girlfriends, do you think I should marry him? Do you think if he asks, I should say yes? They were not there with you. You know, I think what I'm trying to ask you is, take responsibility for your decisions. Understand that when you are exposed to certain situations, you're exposed to them to discern them. I pause there for effect. You're dating this guy. If you watch him disrespect his mom, the red flag is right there for you. Your friends are not there in that moment. You were there. You know, if you go to his house and his kitchen is full of empty whiskey bottles or whatever, the red flags are there for you. If he says to you, I will call you, I will come pick you up at this time. He doesn't call you, he doesn't come to pick you up. Your friends are not there in that moment, but you are. So you have all the intel. So you having to go and ask your friends if this is the guy that you should marry, is a little bit of a joke because they're not there, you know? Maybe you're the one in that moment running away from all the red flags. But the thing is, if your friends say, oh, he looks nice, he smells nice, he has this swag and he has this bounce, yeah, he's such a cool guy, and you know, in your photos you look amazing together. Look at the things that they're using to judge. They have nothing to do with character. They have no tie back to all the red flags that you yourself have already seen. So, okay, so you marry him. You make this fancy bridal shower. We all come and we go like, yeah, we post for your photos and it's amazing. And you post it on Facebook. And then after all the fun is over, you go home with the guy. Doors are closed, and behind the scenes, he ain't praying with you. He ain't romancing you. He ain't buying you any flowers. He ain't planning financially with you. He's not, you know, coming home on time. He's not sharing his vision and dream with you. And you're like, oh my God, he's changed. He didn't change. You ignored the red flags. So what I'm trying to say is that if you could sit with the intel that you receive and process that and use that to, you know, go into your prayer closet and ask God, hey, I'm seeing this, advise me, talk to me, help me, guide me. Sometimes some things are not even qualified to pray to God about because he gives you the intel to already show you before you even have to go into a place of prayer. to show you that this is not the way. And you know it. Like, I have an aunt who said to me that on the day she was walking down the aisle, she knew that that was not the guy that she was supposed to marry. So, my friends, I just want to say there are certain questions that you shouldn't ask people. You can't ask someone if you should forgive another person. This forgiveness it's a commandment, you know. God says that, you know, if you come to him to pray for something and you realize you're holding a grudge against someone, go and forgive them. Now, of course, we shouldn't mix forgiveness up with, you know, reconciliation and doing life together. Forgiveness is a heart thing. You let the person go in your heart. You set them free. You pray for them. You pray for yourself. You're honest and naked before God, and you tell him exactly how you are feeling, and you process those feelings, and then you let it go. Like, that is not something you should be asking someone, should I forgive the other person? No, forgive them. Let them go. Like, you're not going to soar high if you're holding on to someone, like trying to make sure that they die or go, whatever, like they suffer for their sins. That's not what you're called to do. And those are not the questions that you should be asking, you know? Or asking someone, you know, what career should I pursue? Like, that is a prayer closet question that you should be asking God, and then processing what energizes you, what makes you happy. Tell God, you see the whole world. Like, you see careers that I'm not even aware exist, you know, like I used to work in the media industry, yeah, and then I switched to the tech industry, and in the tech industry I've been exposed to all kinds of like job paths and career paths that I didn't even know existed, yeah. So if I was just asking my friends, maybe my friends also wouldn't have known that they existed, you know. So God will expose you to things that your circle cannot even begin to think about, you know. He will, and it could be in a movie, it could be in a theatrical piece, it could be in a billboard, it could be, you never know, right? So, but in the end, what I'm trying to say is that in the end, it's you who's going to go to that company and do that job. It's you who has to deal with the manager that you will get. It's you who has to deal with the concepts that you will build. So in the end, it's you who has to decide for yourself if you want to be a lawyer or if you want to be a doctor. It's you who has to decide, you know. I think it was Yvonne Orji. Yeah, Yvonne Orji. She's a great comedian. She's in the media. I think she's done, what's the name of the series that she's done? I forget. Insecure is the series that she's done. But she writes in her book called Bamboozled by Jesus. I highly recommend that book. She talks about how her parents had a different dream for her. But she knew that she was never going to fulfill that dream. But she lost so many years of her life trying to make them happy. But, you know, they were not going to, like, your career is you. You know, your career is your life, your path. And yeah, of course, your parents have dreams for you, and every African parent probably hopes their kids can be engineers. But even when you say this word engineer, like their understanding of it is so limited, you know. Like, there are sound engineers out there, there are coding engineers out there, and then there are mechanical engineers. So even when they say this word, it's like how they understand it is completely different from the options that are out there. So you can't be asking your parents what you should do. Maybe you're supposed to be a Trevor Noah and you're supposed to do stand-up comedy, or maybe you're supposed to be Jamie Oliver and you're supposed to, you know, cook. And if you force yourself in a completely different direction than what resonates with your heart and with your spirit, maybe you miss out on all the opportunities that God has for you. So there are questions that you shouldn't be asking other people. I hope so much that this frees you and that it empowers you at the same time. And I know that it's scary to sit down with your own thoughts and process them, but my prayer for you really is that you will understand that God is so close. Like, he says to you that he's in you, and that he that is in you is greater than he that is in the world. So a lot of the things that you're looking for answers to are within you. I've had so many people give me advice about, you know, things I should be doing, like, and even as they speak in that moment, I recognize that doesn't resonate with me. That's not what God is telling me to do, you know. And of course, if you are people pleasing inclined, you might then swing to the opinions. But in the end, I think you really have to focus on, what is God telling me? What resonates with my heart? What is sparking my spirit right now? Because in the end, it's you who has to live with the consequences of the decisions that you make. Friends, it was a bit of a longer episode. I thank you so much for sticking it out with me, and I really hope that the content blesses you and strengthens you moving forward. God bless you, and see you in the next one. Bye-bye.